can't believe we're talking about this guy. I can't believe in Week 14 of the 2023 NFL season, 38-year-old veteran Joe Flacco is doing what he's doing on a football field, but potentially leading the Cleveland Browns as a fresh-off-the-couch guy to a potential playoff berth. After being signed by Cleveland just 20 days ago, head coach Kevin Stefanski has named him the starter. As it stands, Flacco has the Browns as a wild card team. This is the fourth quarterback this team has used, with Deshaun Watson, P.J. Walker, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson preceding Flacco. Shockingly, or not, if you've been following this crazy league, the win over the Jags on Sunday made Cleveland the first team since the 2015 Houston Texans to win a game with 4 different starting quarterbacks in a single year. To understand the rare air Flacco is playing for this team, get this. He became Cleveland's first 300-yard passer this season. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Only 3 times in the last 3 years has this squad had a quarterback throw 3 touchdown passes in a single game. That's a stat. In addition, Flacco became the first Browns quarterback since 1980 to throw 3 tutties of more than 30 yards in the same game. And he also got his 100th win as a starter. Cleveland 6-1 at home this year. Since the stats are just so outrageous with what we're seeing, here's one more. The Browns had 2 multi-touchdown pass games all season before they turned to Flacco in Week 13. They now have 4 such games. Flacco is the 5th quarterback since the 70 merger to throw 5 tutties in his first 2 games with a new team. Head coach Kevin Stefanski addressed the media afterwards.
And then to your point, Joe's been in big games, so I feel comfortable with him leading the football team.
What is it about Joe that has allowed him, I don't know his experience, but obviously be able to come in the way that he did and be able to be so effective so fast?
Yeah, I think a player that's been around and has had the career that he's had, he can really lean on his experiences, lean on his games that he's played, the different systems he's been in. And he just told that to the football team, just where, some of the things that he's been through and now we as a team have been through. It is good for you in the end.
Thus, behind Flacco and an elite defense, the Cleveland Browns currently have an 85% chance of making the playoffs, according to this tracker via the Times. In the Jags game, Flacco spread the wealth, connecting with 8 different receivers and shining with the likes of Amari Cooper and David Njoku, my fantasy team tight end, the latter catching 2 touchdown passes. Maybe this was perfectly summed up by James Detour of SB Nation, who would write, Joe Flacco is the robotic football dad in the right place at the right time, and damn it, if he's not going to find a way to see this through. The Browns are now in first place in the AFC wildcard, and with a pretty favorable stretch to close out the season, they're in a great place to make some noise now. 2 tweets, just a pair, that describe my exact feeling as it stands right now in this NFL season are as follows. And we start with NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. The NFL this season is wild. Week 14 edition. The Patriots are already eliminated from the playoffs. Jake Browning of the Bengals threw for nearly 300 yards. Zach Wilson of the Jets, 301 with 2 tutties. Joe Flacco is over 300 yards at 38 years old. And second, this is actually debilitating to see the names that are on this list. From the Mullenses to the Davis Millses to the Gardner Minshew. Well, Gardner Minshew is actually having a really good season. The Bailey Zappies, the Drew Locks. Shout out to Tommy DeVito. It's a fun story. But the Ritters, the O'Connells, the Trubiskys, the Brownings. What is going on this NFL season? It is so incredibly weird. The other question. Do the Cleveland Browns win out? It is very hard for a team to do this. We're not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even saying there's great potential that it happens, but just look at their schedule and have maybe a slither of optimism here, all right? They take on my lowly Chicago Bears. They are at the Texans, who are having a really good year. They take on the Zach Wilson-led Jets, who Flacco once started for not long ago, and then Cincinnati with Jake Browning, who cannot pass them in the division. This NFL season, Joe Flacco, all those quarterbacks, this is where we stand right now. Here's the better question. If we could put that tweet up once more. Who is the quarterback that you want out of that bunch? And is it indeed Joe Flacco?